Guys, I hope you guys have a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I just came in from a run. Me and Alicia, Dr. Alicia, that she is a doctor. I got to give this sister her props. We just came in from a run today. We're training for the Chicago Marathon. I need y'all to pray for me because this will be my first marathon. I have never run a marathon in my life, but I'm going to run it now, and I'm going to get the damn thing done and come hell or high water. But it's a little bit tough because we're running distances that are longer than anything I've ever run before, and so it's definitely a different world. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys for a second about something that that recently came up. As Dr. Alicia and I are both college professors. She teaches at a university in the Midwest, and I taught at Syracuse University for 13 years. I also taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, the University of Rochester. I taught in China. I also founded the Black Business School, where we teach business and economics at a very low cost to about 80. We have about 80,000 students worldwide in the Black Business School. So anyway, one of the things that popped up was we were talking about study habits, and the fact that most, and this is something people don't talk about, but most Black students in college, they struggle, they don't graduate, they end up, with a massive amount of student loan debt that they never can repay. And it just becomes a big mess, an absolute mess. And the thing about this mess that I think bothers me a little bit is that this can actually be fixed. How you doing, Rich the Pup? I appreciate you coming in. I know they didn't send out notifications on the YouTube channel. They only send out notifications a couple times a day. So I don't expect a lot of people to come in. I'll just email the video out. But yeah, so when I was in college, I remember seeing a lot of my friends really struggle academically. I see a lot of college students to this day struggling academically, not really knowing what to do, just kind of being stuck. College ain't cheap. College is the most expensive thing that you'll ever buy, most likely, including your house for some people. And a lot of people don't get their money's worth. They walk away bitter because all they've got is the debt. So it's almost like you got screwed, and all they left you with was an STD and an unwanted pregnancy. So you're impregnant with all this debt now, and so you're hemmed up for life, and you didn't even get what you came for. And I see a lot of hopes and dreams sort of get dashed, where students go to college expecting to make a better life for themselves, expecting to do something better for their families, and they don't get there. And so what I wanted to do was share some thoughts with you guys. This is not, if you're not a college student or not going to go to college, that's fine too. This can actually help you in general in life, because everybody should be studying, everybody should be learning. Learning and knowledge is the key to success for any Black person in the world. So if you agree that learning and knowledge are important, then just type yes. Just type knowledge in the chat. Type the word knowledge, because I need you to agree with me that knowledge is power, knowledge matters, knowledge is everything. So type the word knowledge in the chat. Calvin says, listening from the confines of my dorm room now. Good for you, and good for you. Very proud of you, brother. Very proud of you. So let me break this down for you. Here's the issue, right? According to the Journal of Blacks in Higher Education, only 42% of all Black college students ever actually see the graduation stage. Only 42% actually graduate. So that means that, you have 2 students to start college, or let's say 3 or whatever. A lot of times out of that 3, 1 may graduate, and between the other 2, it's like a toss-up, right? Or you could say 1 out of every 2 doesn't finish. And what's interesting also is that I believe in their study, they looked way down the line. So they included people like my parents, who graduated from college when they were like 30. My parents graduated years later. So when you talk about who graduates actually in that 4-year window, I'd say it's clearly the majority that don't make it. So the question becomes, what's happening? What's really going on? Like, what's really going down with this? Well, I've seen this a lot. I've been on college campuses. I was on college campuses for 25 years, and I saw a lot of issues that people don't address. I don't think white universities are particularly good at preparing Black students for college, because they don't tell them what they really need to hear. They don't put them in a position where they can really feel comfortable. All they want to do is make sure, they're getting money out of you, whether it's, from you playing the sport, or from, the financial aid and the student loans. But I don't see as much concern about making sure that you're prepared for life, and life as a productive member of the African-American community. And so the first thing I noticed when I was in college was here's the thing, right? The best thing that ever happened to me when I went to college was that I had never been a good student before in my life. I had never made good grades in my life. You know, because I didn't study. I didn't study in high school, middle school, none of that. So when I got to college, I wasn't, coming in thinking, oh, well, because I made good grades in high school, that's going to translate. I knew I had done badly, and I knew I had to start from scratch. That was the best thing that ever happened to me because I learned how to study without all the bullshit that so many students get about how you're supposed to do it. I picked up on things that my friends hadn't picked up on that were crippling them when it came to college. Like I had friends that were, cramming, like literally thinking they could learn a month's worth of stuff, like in one night. Like, and I'm like, who told you that you can learn 30 days worth of information in one day? So that was one thing. Like, I came in and, when we tell you how I learned how to study, I learned how to study by basically thinking about my job and thinking about sports. Those are two things. When I played sports, I learned that if you want to win a championship, you practice harder than the next man and you practice consistently. I also learned from playing sports that if you want to win a big game in November, you start practicing in the summer. You start practicing months ahead of time. You can't start practicing the day before the championship. You got to practice, start practicing in the springtime. And so with school, I took that same approach. I always got a running start. I always started way ahead of everybody else. And I would start reading my chapters. Like, so if I had a test November 1st, I would start studying October 1st. And I would start reading all the chapters and get ahead of everybody. And what happened was, I didn't know this, but I started getting identified as a smart kid in the class, even though I wasn't any smarter than anybody else. But I got identified as a smart kid because I had information that other students weren't going to have for another 2 days. Because most students don't start reading the material until the teacher makes them do it or until they have to have it for the class. I would just read it in advance and be like, I'm gonna read it again before the test. The other thing too that really got me ahead was I read somewhere that said that, when you study, you should go to a quiet, well-lit location. So I would go to the library where it was really quiet. There was no distractions. And I had read somewhere that even when you think you're learning, you're not learning if there's noise in the background. Like, so if the TV's on and your friends are interrupting you every second, what's going to happen is you're going to have the illusion of productivity, not real productivity, the illusion of productivity. Because what will happen is you'll be sitting with your boys, kicking it, hanging out, and with, TV in the background, getting interrupted every 5 minutes. And you'll be sitting there for 5 hours and you'll be like, I studied 5 hours today and I still failed the test. Well, really, you were sitting at that table for 5 hours, but you only studied for 1 hour, right? Because your studying was really, really inefficient, right? Whereas if you go into a quiet, well-lit location where there's no distractions, plenty of light, plenty of peace and quiet, your brain can focus on one thing and you're able to absorb the information much more effectively. You may not know this, but your brain cannot process all that information at once. You might have the music playing in the background, the TV in the background. You may think you're ignoring it, but no, your brain is picking all that up and saying, oh, what's going on over there? What's MTV saying about this? Or what's being said about that? That's your subconscious mind, right? So that was a couple of things I remember doing was I was like, okay, I guess I should study about 4 hours a day because I had a job at Taco Bell. And I was like, if I can go work for this white man for 8 or 9 hours a day, then I can work for my own future for 4 hours a day. I mean, that's easy, right? Because I mean, why would I work harder for a minimum wage paycheck than I would for something like education that's going to last me for the rest of my life? I'm 48 years old and I still live off of things I did when I was 19. I live off of things I did, decisions I made when I was 18, 19, 20 years old. That shit stays with you forever. It never goes away, right? So when I think back to the friends I had who had all the opportunities, maybe they were there on a sports scholarship or whatever, and they got caught up in the bullshit and they ended up, it's like you spending most of your time partying. You're trying to pledge a fraternity or a sorority. They're cutting you off. They're not letting you study because they're waking you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and sending you to go to McDonald's for them in the middle of the night because they're trying to hate your ass. And it didn't make any sense to me. And a lot of my friends that did that, they didn't get what they wanted out of life. They didn't have success. They ended up failing. Maybe they didn't graduate and they still got $50,000 in student loan debt because those debts, your degree may not come, but that debt ain't going away. That debt is a piece of paper you're going to definitely carry with you for the rest of your life, right? It's a financial STD they give you when you're young if you're not careful. So basically, I think the three things that separated me was one, I studied 4 to 6 hours a day. I did not know at the time that I was studying far more than most of my classmates. Most college students only study a few hours a week, and they try to do all their studying right before the test. Number two, I did not procrastinate. I started studying well in advance, And so that meant that when it came time for the test, I wasn't stressed out. I wasn't staying up all night. I didn't like that shit. That wasn't fun for me. That's uncomfortable. Who wants to be up all night when you ain't getting enough sleep and your body don't feel right and you're all grumpy because you're tired? I didn't want to feel that way. So I got plenty of sleep before the test because I studied, 3 or 4 weeks in advance. The other thing I did was I would get away from everything. I would get away to a location where I was not going to be distracted, and that allowed my brain to focus so I could consume and absorb the information. So I would say it's those three things: for studying longer, more consistently, starting well in advance, not procrastinating, and being in a place where I was not distracted. And you know what's funny is the same processes I used to study back in college, I still use that to this day. I still operate my whole operation based on the same principles I developed when I was 19 years old as a college student. Let me tell you what happened. When I was going to school at the University of Kentucky, I was the #1 Black student on that entire campus for the entire 4 years I was there. The entire 4 years I was there, I was a straight A student pretty much. I made a couple of B's here and there. I had one semester where I lost focus, but I went back and retook some of those classes and replaced the grade because they let you have retake options. So I used some of those, and I graduated in 4 years with 2 bachelor's degrees and 3 majors. I could have had 3 bachelor's degrees in 4 years. I just didn't want to do it because it was like, who cares? But the thing was, nobody could understand how I did that much and made it look that easy. Like nobody understood how like you're not stressed out, like you're never in the library at 2 o'clock in the morning the night before the test. Like I would be on the basketball court, like right before the test. I want to play basketball, and my friends would be like, how are you on the basketball court? We got the big math test today. I'll be like, because I'm already ready. I already studied. I was studying when y'all were kicking it, when y'all's dumbasses was at the frat party and practicing for the fucking step show. I was in the library grinding it out. I was hustling. I was getting ahead of the curve. Now I've done my work. Now the final exams come in. I only have to make a 25 to get an A in the class because I paid my dues up front. And so that was, in hindsight, that was a couple of principles that I picked up at that time that really helped me in life. Was number one, thinking like an investor. Like an investor is a person who makes a sacrifice now so they can have more later on, right? So back then I was like, well, why am I gonna have to cram all night for a test, try to learn 30 days worth of shit in 24 hours and still get a C on the test? Like, if I'm gonna work that hard, I need to get an A. So I was like, instead of cramming, I called it jamming. I literally had a name. I named it jamming. I said, instead of cramming the night before the test, I'm gonna cram 3 weeks before the test. So 3 weeks before the exam, I will be studying as hard as I would be if I had the test the next day. What's the difference? Well, because in life, most of the time, the rewards go to the people who prepare in advance. Like, so by me studying all this early and knowing the information before everybody else, I got A's on all the quizzes. I looked like a fucking genius in class. I was the smartest kid because I knew all the answers because I'd already read the chapter. Ain't nobody else read nothing. Teacher told them to read it, but ain't nobody read because they all gonna read the night before the test. I'd already read. I'd be like, oh, the answer is blah blah blah. The answer is blah blah. And the teacher would be like, oh, you're a smart Negro, right? But really, I wasn't no smarter than nobody else. I just had read the chapter. I had the information. Right? It's all about sort of planning ahead. So the first thing was I learned to think like an investor, and 2, I learned the art of time management. Time management is the most important skill I think I developed at an early age that has carried with me all throughout my life. To this day, I have people that say, God, Boyce, it looks like you always grinding, like you always got stuff going on. You always got you never stop working. It's not true. I never stopped living. I mean, but I don't work. I took 2 naps today. 2 naps, and I didn't even take off my socks today. I've been in my socks all day, except for when I had to put on my shoes to go running. So I've worked all day in my socks or my pajamas. I took 2 naps. I watched all the ESPN shows because I was really intrigued with Antonio Brown. I spent time with my woman. I ate my favorite food. Like I watched a couple of shows. Like my life is pretty good. So what's the difference? How does it look like I get so much stuff done? It's because I manage my time. When I'm sitting down, I'm gonna knock it out, and I'm always able to multitask, kill multiple birds with one stone. Learning systems, automation, delegation, things like that, and that literally to this day, that's what I've been using since I was 19 years old. That allowed me to look like I was doing a lot when really I wasn't doing that much. It's crazy. So my point to you is to say, you know, if you want to be different, if you want your kids to be different, or even if you're not in college, even if you're just trying to succeed at the game of life, life is a big university. That's what it is. You know, I'm a college professor, so I know what a university looks like very well. But life really is a university if you use it for that. Except it's a better university because you can learn more that way. And I would just say that for Black people in America, especially, you are not going to get ahead by following the crowd. You know, if for a Black person in America, this whole system is wired for you to fail. It is wired for you to come in last place. It's wired for you to sit around feeling sorry for yourself. It's wired for you to fuck up your own shit and then sit around sad like somebody else did it. Seriously, I had friends where I'd be in school. I'd be like, why are y'all not studying? Who told y'all that Black people don't study in the library on Saturday nights? I see Chinese kids in here studying. I saw the Arab kids studying. I see the Indian kids studying. I want to compete with them. You know, I'm not acting like I'm not cooning out with y'all. Like y'all acting like a bunch of damn slaves. So you sign yourself up for slavery and then you complain that you're a slave. But that the problem is that you get into this mob behavior. You get into this behavior of following the crowd, doing what everybody else is doing. And you don't think about what you're doing. So therefore you end up in dumb situations because the whole world is designed for Black people to end up in dumbass situations. Seriously. Like that Outkast song, the whole world loves it when you don't get down, right? And that's what it is. Like the whole world loves it when Black people are not on top. Like, the whole world loves it when Black people are losing because that allows them to use you. You know, they just love playing you like a $2 hoe and y'all giving up the ass every day of the week, then twice on Sundays. And that's why you end up losing. So what I'm just simply trying to tell you, and this is why I don't get invited to college camp, even though I'm smarter than most college professors. I have all the education, all that stuff. But what they, you know, the reason they don't want me there is because my message is one that does not resonate well on a college campus. You know, the messages that I hear are messages built on victimization. Because you're Black, you're like disabled and you're not supposed to achieve as much as everybody else. Or there are messages that are built on an extreme addiction to mediocrity, right? I don't believe in mediocrity. I don't believe that any person trying to survive as a Black person in this world should be trying to be mediocre. You should be doing everything you can to be exceptional. Whatever they work, if they work this much, you work twice as much. Like they say, twice as much to get half as much. You better be ready to grind if you want to be successful, you know. And I saw a lot of people throw away a lot of opportunities, and then they were complaining because they had no opportunities. But if you think about that, we do that with everything. We do that with our money. We do that with education. You know, we sit around complaining that white people are not properly educating our kids. I'm like, who the hell told you that white people are supposed to be educating your kids anyway? Who the hell told you that they're supposed to even care about your community more than you care about your community? Like, who told you that it makes sense that for us that we can raise $100 million for Popeye's chicken, you know, or $1 billion to give away to Disney because they made a good movie, but we can't raise $500 million to support our own damn HBCUs. We can't even support our own damn schools. You got celebrities that won't even give enough money to get the HBCUs. If all the Black celebrities felt obligated to make sure that the Black community was good, they could make sure the Black community was good. They just don't care. They just don't care. So you got a lot of really screwed up ways of thinking that permeate your community. And if you go back to college campuses, I remember seeing things that didn't make any sense. Like I didn't understand people that would ruin their whole GPA so they could spend 6 weeks pledging in a fraternity or sorority. It wasn't anti-fraternity or sorority, but some of those habits were downright destructive. I was like, I had a friend, my roommate, a very smart guy, had a lot of potential. And I remember him pledging Q. No disrespect to Q dogs. If you're a Q dog in the room, no disrespect to y'all, but I think all of y'all know the difference between Q dogs and Omega men, right? Omega men, y'all good with me. Q dogs, you know, I think y'all need to reconsider. Y'all need to think it through a little bit because some of that Q dog behavior that I saw on the campus was dangerous. It was detrimental. You know, like the world is never going to be polite. It's never going to be good to a Black man who decides he wants to drink too much at every available opportunity. The world is not going to take kindly to a Black man who has sex with everything that moves. The world's not going to take kindly to a Black man that puts down his book every chance he gets. You know, you're just not going to be successful that way. So when I saw that behavior, some of the stuff these dudes were doing, I said, this don't even make no sense. Like y'all clowning me because I want to study. What the fuck kind of backward ass bullshit culture is this? What kind of retarded ass culture is it that makes fun of a black man because he wants to go to the library. Like, are you kidding me? What is wrong? I like, you ever feel that? Anybody ever feel that way where sometimes you feel like you were born on the wrong planet? I'm like, either I'm really, really smart or we're all really, really stupid. Like, I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, this is right in front of you. What is this? What are you doing? Like, this is, so anyway, let me just summarize, because y'all know how I get passionate about it, because I feel kind of bad, because I see students that aren't taught any better. And maybe you catch me on the internet. I go to college campuses now, and I'll run into young students who know about me and stuff like that. And I think it's great, because they should know me. They really, I think there are things I can teach them. Like, I can tell you every secret you ever wanted to know about what your professors are thinking, because I was a professor for a long time. I've literally taught thousands of college students at Syracuse and Ohio State and other places. I can tell you exactly why your professor did this and he should have did that. So the information is there. I think that the problem is that we're listening to the wrong people. Like, we have a community where we'll listen to rappers before we listen to scholars. And that's not good, because if you analyze the lyrical content of most of these rappers, not all of them, but a lot of them, all it is a blueprint for self-destruction. All it is a blueprint for self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Literally, when they teaching you how to go, fuck every woman that walks by and catch all kinds of diseases and make babies everywhere, like that's a key to self-destruction. You get stuck in child support court. You can't pay. You have to go under the radar. You're hiding now, running from your own damn kids. You don't look like a man. You look like a little bitch, because can't nobody find you, and everybody's talking bad about you now because you didn't uphold your responsibility. They encourage you to get high and drunk at every available opportunity. Well, Malcolm X used to say that the white man will sell you the liquor bottle and then lock you up for being drunk. Like, they want you to be an alcoholic or a drug addict. That's why they pay the rappers to promote drug addiction and alcohol consumption, because when you're drunk, you're not going to think about your decisions. You're going to make bad choices. They get to lock you up, and they get to make money off you when you're in prison. They desensitize you to black men murdering each other. It's not a thing. Like Dave Chappelle said, he said, how come I can't say the F word? I'm not going to say it on the air because I know people, I don't want to get in, I don't have issues with YouTube. But, he said, well, how come I can't say the F word, but I can say the N word without any sort of reaction? Like, you have no problem with me using the N word, but if I say the F word, that's a problem, right? Well, same thing is true. Like, there are certain derogatory terms used in the Jewish community that you cannot say, but you can say derogatory terms toward black people all day, and they don't give you an issue with that. So the list kind of goes on and on. So I really would say that if you want to be successful in life, some people don't want to be successful. So if that's not you, then good luck. Whatever other strategy you have, just go do that. And I wish you the best. But for those who want to be successful, what I will say is that if you go to college, remember, this is the most expensive thing you'll ever buy, probably including your house, right? You might eventually buy a house that costs you more than college, but for some of y'all, it might be a toss-up, because most black people never buy a house, right? We just buy cars and shit, which is another really bad investment. But we do that. We love our cars. Given that you're going to make that big investment of hundreds of thousands of dollars of your family wealth that could be left to your children, and also 4 years of your life, at least 4 years of your life, which is also worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Get the most out of that investment. You got to work that damn thing. When you get up in college, like, don't be bullshitting. Don't be doing what everybody else is doing. Waiting to the last minute, not studying, sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. You dig in there and you go hard. Go see your professors once a week. Study 4 to 6 hours a day. Be consistent when you study. Be about your business. Go to the library. Get away from all distractions. If you have any friends, any negative people around you that are throwing you off your game, you get rid of them. This is true not just in college, true for life. Be serious, take yourself seriously, and then the world will take you seriously. If you never take yourself seriously, then the world will always see you as a joke. So the question you must ask yourself every day is, am I serious or am I a joke? So answer that for me right now. Are you serious or are you a joke? Type it in the chat. Let's make that commitment to ourselves right now. Are you serious or are you a joke? Tell me that you're serious right now, so I know I didn't waste my time making this video. Are you serious or are you a joke? Calvin says I'm serious. Good. Who else? Are you serious or are you a joke? Anthony, thank you. Okay, thank you, Sherwin. Good, good. I'm serious, and I want you to ask yourself that question. Every single day. Ask yourself that question every single day. Do I suggest we teach our children to attend HBCUs? I think you pick what works for you. I think HBCUs add a lot of value. I mean, I think there's a lot to say about HBCUs. HBCUs do some screwed up things. Like, for example, Dr. Claude Anderson, arguably the greatest economic historian in the history of this country, who wrote the book Powernomics, which was considered by Ebony Magazine to be the second Bible for Black people. He lives right there in DC with Howard University. And Howard has not once invited him to speak. Nobody at Howard has ever invited him to speak. And I think that's absolutely blasphemous because they've invited plenty of worthless white people to come speak at their campus. And it doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't have one of the greatest, most impactful, most influential Black men on the planet come speak at your school. But the reason that they won't have him is because he's a threat to white supremacy. So ultimately, Howard, which is named after a white man, that is true. Go look it up. Also, they had to. I knew I was in D.C. and I knew that I saw Howard. I didn't know where Howard was exactly in the city, but I knew I was near Howard because I saw a big ass mural of Abraham Lincoln. And I said, okay, that sounds like some slave shit where you're idolizing Abraham Lincoln because you don't know the real history. You don't really know how Abraham Lincoln really felt about Black people and the fact that he really didn't even want to free your Black ass. But that's what you're taught to do, right? And so you're sort of feeding into the tradition of the HBCU, which was designed to train Black people to go work for white people, right? So ultimately, there are some HBCUs have some slave tendencies. If you go to, like, for example, if you go to certain institutions, you'll go to the computer science department, you go to, the business school, you won't find any African American faculty. You won't have any African American faculty in the entire business school for some of these schools, because they'll hire a lot of Chinese people, Indian people, things like that. And they don't hire a lot of African Americans in some of these departments, especially in the sciences and in the hard sciences. So I'm not going to say HBCUs are bad. I think HBCUs can add value, but HBCUs alone are not enough. You need to supplement your education with real Black education, real Black education. The reason we created the Black Business School is because we wanted to create a high quality, low cost supplement and/or alternative to a traditional college education. Two things that we do that add value. One, we do not leave you in debt. Most of our programs, you can join for free, actually, and most of our programs won't cost you more per day than a Popeye's chicken sandwich. The second thing we do is we give you a Black-centered education. We put Black people first. We have no problem saying Black people matter more than anybody else on this earth. Howard University won't say that. Other universities won't say that the Black community is our top priority. We care about nothing other than the Black community, because you're sending most of your graduates to go work in the white community. You're not sending them to build Black businesses in the hood. You're sending them to build white businesses in the suburbs. So, when you're bragging about how many students you sent to go work at JP Morgan Chase or whatever, that's fine for some of them if that's a temporary position. But really, you want to brag about how many Black people you sent to go build the next JP Morgan Chase in the hood or in a place where they can employ dozens of Black people and create opportunities for dozens, if not hundreds of Black people, right? The third thing that we do that is very powerful is we cut right to the chase. We have PhDs just like the other institutions, but we also have people that have experience. Most business school professors have never run a business. That's one thing they don't tell you when they're charging you $50,000 a year to go to school. And I know this. I've been in business schools. I've been a teacher in business schools for many years. And so effectively, we believe deeply in learning from people who really know how to do what they're teaching you, and also people who understand the Black angle of everything, right? Business models in the Black community have to be different from business models that you just learn from white folks. Right. So ultimately, what we do is we reshape business models and to sort of fit the condition and the challenges of being Black, but also the opportunities of being Black, as well as the necessities of being Black. Right. So, for example, the Black community does not need another 5 million people to go hunting for jobs. We don't need more employees. We got an oversupply of Black employees. What we need to produce Black people who create jobs, not just Black people who seek jobs. Right. It's like if you have dinner upstairs and everybody's showing up to eat, but nobody knows how to cook, then everybody's going to starve. Or they're going to have to get food from outside of the house. And you don't know what they're putting in your food, especially if the food is being made by your open enemy. So what we do is we say, okay, we can still have people that want to eat the food, but we also need people who know how to cook the food so that we can cook our own food and keep ourselves healthy. So same thing is true with your economic food. We need Black people who can cook economic food. We need people who know how to make it rain up in this mug. We need people who know how to become producers, owners, investors, etc., so that they can actually generate products and services for the Black community that will redirect Black dollars. You see, here's the thing, right? The reparations conversation is all about when a white folks gonna write us a check. Cut the check, cut the check, cut the check. Well, I say cut the shit, right? You can talk about cutting the check. If white people want to write a check, God bless them. Go get that money. But here's the thing, that's not going to change your community. That's not your real reparations. That's your reparations or your fake reparations. That's not your real reparations. Your real reparations or your real reparations will come when you redirect Black dollars. Here's the math. Black people have about 1.3 trillion in spending power that we allocate every year, that we receive every year. That's our budget. Our annual budget is 1.3 trillion dollars. We give away over 1.2 out of that 1.3 trillion dollars. We give it right back to white people. So if you have Black producers that are created in this community in this generation to serve this generation and the next, then what they do is they redirect those dollars. So if you just redirected 10% of the 1.2 trillion that we donate to white people every year, and that's $120 billion a year on every year, recurring income coming right into the Black community. And then if you have a culture of people wanting to buy Black, then what happens is that's not 120 billion anymore. That's now $500 billion, because every dollar is being circulated. So every dollar is not $1, it's 2, 3, 4, 5. However many times we can pass that hot potato around, that's what those dollars become, right? So the dollars don't die, they multiply. Right now your dollars die, so you got to go beg to get more dollars, because every single day the Black community goes bankrupt. When those businesses come in your hood and they suck up all your money and they take it out to the suburbs, every single day you go bankrupt. So what I'm saying is, right now our dollars die. We need to make sure our dollars multiply. If we do that, then we will have a far more prosperous community in the next generation than we do now, which is another service the Black Business School offers that makes us unique. We educate the entire family. We want to educate your grandma. We want to educate your Uncle Louie. We want to educate your little baby cousin who's 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. We have a business school for children that is exceptionally good. A lot of parents, we have thousands of parents who put their children through our business school for children, who are now literally have a financial literacy level at the age of 10 that exceeds the average college educated adult. So this all goes into this basic premise. The basic premise is that in order for you to really accelerate and to really go past your oppression and run past your competition, you have to be innovative. You got to find the shortcuts. You have to restructure the models, and you got to break a whole lot of rules. HBCUs are not fit for people like myself. Not now. Maybe 30 years from now, when all these ideas sink in and we reach an iconic status, then they'll have to deal with us. But we're not a fit for HBCUs at this point, because they're too committed to the rules. Even their business models are problematic, to the point where half of all HBCUs, especially private schools, are going to be gone in 10 years. Like, so Nikki's mentioned Hampton. Hampton's in danger of being extinct. Why? Because you cannot survive with the business model that they have. Most universities, they're overpriced, severely underfunded. A lot of them need money from the government. Now, Hampton, I believe, is a private school. I'm not sure, but maybe they have some donors that care about Hampton, but I don't think they have enough. So a lot of our HBCUs are in danger of being dead. They're not going to be around 10, 15 years from now. So basically, these are the thoughts that go through my mind. I want you guys to go out and figure out what works for you. And just all I can say is, don't trust all this stuff that they're feeding you. Some of it may be good, some of it may be cool, but think about it. Make sure that you do it because it really works for you, not because somebody else did it. Because the majority of Black people that go to college do not graduate. Half of all Black college graduates cannot pay back their student loans. That's the graduates now. So these are the elite Negroes. These are the ones who walk around popping their collar like they really done did something. Half of them can't even pay the debt back. So think about this. You went to college so that you can actually get some money and build some wealth, but your dumb ass gonna die in debt. I'm not, scratch that. Let me rewind that. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm sorry. I call myself dumb. When I do something dumb, I call myself dumb. So I'm not disrespecting. Some of y'all may be in here right now. I don't want you to feel bad, but I'm telling you, you got tricked. You got suckered in. You fell for the okie doke. So I'm just trying to tell you, like, if you got cousins or children or whoever, Make sure they understand all their alternatives so that they don't end up being caught in the same trap as everybody else, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. All right. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. If you guys are interested in taking a look at the Black Business School, you can actually get started for free. So feel free to go to theblackbusinessschool.com, THE, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. And we even have a phone number if you want to call it and you want to talk to one of our, personal wealth specialists that can sort of talk to you about your own plan and what you want to do with your family, educationally and otherwise. The number is 773-302-0212. That's 773-302-0212. I'm gonna say it one more time, 773-302-0212. So if you feel that we can help you or help your children or help your family, feel free to call that number and you can talk to one of our people. Also, don't forget this month we're going to I'm going to be speaking in Louisville on September 14th at the Diverse Entrepreneurship Summit, which you can find out about at drboyceloyville.com. I'll be at the All Black National Convention on September 27th. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. It's going to be in Houston. It's going to be a great event. And then we're going to do a big investment summit where we're going to do a pop-up Black business school in New York. I just talked to Charlemagne the God the other day, so hopefully maybe I can even talk about it on the Breakfast Club. I was really happy Charlemagne actually asked about getting Dr. Claude Anderson on the Breakfast Club. And so even though HBCUs may not invite him in, Charlemagne definitely has requested him to come on, which makes me really proud of him for using his platform in a good way. So we talked about that yesterday. So I don't even care if I get on there now. I've been on Breakfast Club 4 times, but I want Dr. Claude Anderson on there. I remember I was able to help Tariq Nasheed get on, and also Louis Farrakhan. And I thought it was great that he actually brings those people. Again, critique Charlemagne all you want, but you have to give him credit for the fact that he's done things that other people in media do not do, And so if he gets Dr. Claude Anderson on there, I'm going to be really happy about that, because everybody, if Black people really embrace Powernomics the way we really should, we would be unstoppable. We would literally be the most unstoppable force in the world. So let's go out and be unstoppable. I mean, if you can't do it, get everybody to do it. At least do it for your own family. What would it take to get you to come to my school to speak? Where can I get your information? Calvin, if you go to theblackbusinessschool.com, THE, theblackbusinessschool.com, and just talk to one of the enrollment specialists, they can put you in touch with whoever you'd like to speak to about pretty much anything. They're very well trained. We put a lot of energy into our customer service team to make sure that anybody who stops through is left extremely happy, and we take good care of you. We want this school to be around for 500 years, so I can use you guys' help with this. Like if you had an experience there and you really liked it, I hope you'll tell people about it. I hope you'll consider enrolling. I know people spend hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars at these universities that don't give them anything, don't even want them there, don't even like Black people. So, if you could fund something that's like yours, like that would be really cool, because that would help us to do more of what we're doing, like what we're doing in New York with the pop-up business school and all that. So this is what we're going, this is what we're up to. This is what we're building. Sometimes you just start building and you may not have everything you need to build, but you just start building and the universe makes a way. So a lot of this is built on faith, because I believe in Black people. I believe we're the greatest people on the planet. So anyway, if you want to learn about the live events, just go to drboyceseminars.com. That's drboyceseminars.com. All of them are right there on the page. You can go check them out. Calvin says, thank you. You are my idol. Wow, that's very flattering, man. I really appreciate that. And I will humbly submit that I want you to be your own idol. If I can motivate you, if I can inspire you to be a better man, then I accept that responsibility. That's cool. There's a lot of good things I can teach you, but then I want you to pick up the mantle, because at some point I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm done. I ran my leg at a relay race. Now y'all take over. And when I'm talking to young people, I want young people to just really, my goal in life is very simple. I want to spend as much time as I can mobilizing hundreds of thousands of young people to basically keep doing what we're doing right now. Right. I don't want to be the only one. I don't want to be one in 1,000. I want there to be thousands of people just like me, getting it done and not being scared, just going hard in the paint. They can't stop you. So do I hate white people? No, I do not. I do not hate anybody. Hate is a horrible energy to carry, and hate hurts you more than it hurts the person you hate. So anyway, take care, guys. Have a good day. And I do not want to talk about Andrew Yang. I do not care about Andrew Yang. So I don't care about the elections. I'm not voting for nobody. Fuck these Democrats and Republicans. They can all kiss my black ass. So you guys take care. I love you. Have a good night. Be good. Peace.